Charley horses and foot cramps are like the worst. Are you kidding me? So in this video, I'm going to assume that you don't enjoy feeling like you just stuck your leg in the light socket, and I'm going to help you understand what is creating these problems, and you're even going to understand the steps you can take to correct it. Let's jump in.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So let us know in the comments how long your cramps have been really bad and if there's anything that you do that brings you any type of relief. So here's how this works. There's minerals that are responsible for allowing a muscle to contract. When you contract your muscle, there's minerals involved in that process. And once a muscle is contracted, there are other minerals that are involved in that muscle being able to relax. So the contraction and the relaxation are different processes for any muscle or tissues in the body. So one of the minerals that's crucial for that relaxation process is calcium. So what's important is that the calcium doesn't just need to be in the body, it needs to be available in that tissue level. So if you get like a Charley horse, what's happening is that muscle is contracting, but there's not enough calcium in that tissue to allow the muscle to relax. So it cramps up and you get a Charley horse and you jump out of bed. It feels like somebody stuck a car battery on your leg and you're using all these cuss words you didn't even know that you knew. It's very unpleasant. This is why one person can have Charley horses and another person won't. It's not a hereditary thing. It's all about having calcium at the tissue level. And what we're going to understand in this video is why wouldn't there be enough calcium at the tissue level? Why would one person have enough calcium and the other person wouldn't? Because it's not always about, oh, I need to supplement calcium if I don't have enough. You may have plenty of calcium in the body, it's just in the wrong place. Now, there are supplements that can help push that calcium back down to the tissue level, and it's also possible for a person not to be bringing enough calcium into the system at all, so we'll get to those things. But the more common problem is people doing things that can pull too much calcium out of the tissues. So the more common solution is to have someone stop doing the wrong things or to correct the problems that are causing the body to pull too much calcium out of the tissues. There's a lot of things that can cause the calcium to be pulled out of those tissues. Now, the biggest problem for most people is too many carbs and sugars. You want me to drop my carbs and sugars? Are you insane, little monkey boy? Have you seen my cravings? So if this is a problem for you, if you have insane cravings that make you think that it's just comical to think you could reduce the amount of carbs and sugars you're eating, then we'll put a link to our video on understanding cravings in the description below this video so you can check that out and just understand that it is possible for you to correct those cravings. But the problem with carbs and sugars is that calcium likes to follow sugar. Just like we all like to follow the ice cream truck when we were 9. Calcium likes to follow sugar. So when you're consuming too many carbohydrates that turn into sugar, or too many sugars, or especially liquid sugars like alcohol or soda and that kind of stuff, liquid sugars hit your body even harder. But when you consume too many carbs and sugars, that causes the calcium to want to follow that sugar. When the calcium leaves the tissues to follow that sugar, when the sugar burns up, then the body just kind of deposits the calcium in the wrong places. Now, we're going to come back to this carbs and sugars thing in just a minute. I'm not going to leave you abandoned there and just tell you, hey, just stop eating it, because it could cause some problems for you as well. But the next biggest thing is too much sun exposure or supplementing with too much vitamin D. I know, everybody can't shut up about, yeah, you got to cram a bunch of vitamin D in your body, but it can be problematic. So vitamin D is really crucial for us. It actually helps us pull calcium out of the intestinal tract into the bloodstream so that the body can use it. So you really got to have some vitamin D in order for that to happen. It's really important. So this is less common, but if a person is not getting enough vitamin D, that can restrict their ability to pull calcium from the intestinal tract into the system, and that can create a shortage of calcium at the tissue level. But when you take too much vitamin D, like so many people are telling us to do now, that excess vitamin D not only pulls calcium out of the intestinal tract into the bloodstream, it pulls calcium from everywhere, out of our tissues and even out of our bones, and holding it into the bloodstream. So if you're taking too much vitamin D, you can magnify these cramp issues. So one thing you can do is you can get some urine pH testing strips. You can find these at most health food stores or on Amazon, and you can test your urine pH at least 2 hours after a meal, but don't do it first thing in the morning. And if you're having Charley horses that are bad and your urine pH is over like 6.1 or 6.2, that is a really strong indication that you're pulling too much calcium out of the tissues, and then the body's trying to get rid of that calcium somehow. So your body tries to pee it out, and that alkaline calcium can raise that urine pH. So if you're seeing a high urine pH, that can be a really strong indication that you're taking too much vitamin D if you are taking vitamin D. This also helps us understand why some people only get Charley horses during the summer. They're like, why does this only happen during the summer? And it's just because during those summer months when they're getting more sun exposure, they're getting more vitamin D. And maybe they're supplementing with vitamin D and they're not reducing the amount that they're supplementing with. And then they're also getting the vitamin D from the sun exposure. Or maybe they're getting this extra sun exposure and they're not reducing the amount of carbohydrates and sugars that they're consuming. So that's pulling calcium out of the tissues as well. Or maybe they're not taking some of these other steps that we're going to teach you how to take to counter the effect of that excess vitamin D and help push more calcium back to the tissues. But this at least helps us understand why this may be more problematic for some folks in the summer. And even if a person isn't supplementing with vitamin D, if their urine pH is too high, they may be consuming too many carbs and sugars. Both of these items can create the same effect. The third most common cause is what we call an anabolic imbalance, and the body's supposed to shift at the cellular level from what we call a catabolic state during the day and an anabolic state during the nighttime so that we can rest and rebuild and repair and all that kind of stuff. But people can kind of get stuck in one state, and a person stuck in that anabolic state will often pull too much calcium out of those tissues and pee it out. So I'm not going to go too deep into that right now, but I'll put a link in the description below this video on our video on understanding an anabolic imbalance, because you'll want to check that out if that appears that it could be a problem for you. And a higher urine pH is just one possible marker for this anabolic imbalance. If you also deal with constipation or anxiety, or maybe you have to get up at night to pee a lot, or maybe you're dealing with a fast pulse, all of these are markers for an anabolic imbalance. So any of those issues that you're dealing with may make you want to say, okay, I really need to learn more about that anabolic imbalance, and then go down the description below this video so you can find the link to that video. And the next issue is a lack of resources. And this is one of the most common problems, because if the body doesn't have the minerals and the nutrients and the resources that it needs to function correctly and run all the processes that it needs to run, well, it's going to shop at the 7-Eleven, and you're the 7-Eleven. So it'll break down tissues, it'll break down bones, it'll pull nutrients and minerals out of those tissues and bones so it can use those to function. So if your body is not getting all the minerals and nutrients it needs, it's going to pull them out of the tissues, and when it pulls these nutrients out, calcium will come with it, and when you use up these nutrients, the calcium will just get dropped and get deposited in the wrong places. So now that you understand the most likely underlying causes for Charley horses, now you need to understand how to figure out what's the most likely cause for you and your unique body chemistry. And also you need to understand how to fix these issues. So go ahead now and jump over and watch our video on how to fix Charley horses fast and for good. And I'm even going to give you a step that you can take right away to create almost some immediate relief while you're working to correct some of these underlying causes. I can't wait to hear about your results.